good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know from where you guys have joined in, but then yeah, wishing you quick greetings, and we are really happy to have you over here. I will be giving quick introduction about my presenters today, co-presenters. They are experts from Medibank. But yeah, before we move forward, I have a quick question for everyone. I'm sure this is not a question, but this comes into the minds of a lot of agents who are specifically dealing into the destination of Australia. So, have you guys ever thought about how to make the OSHC purchasing hassle-free for your clients? If so, you are correct. You are today in the correct place because today's session is going to answer that. And not only that, we are going to cover a lot of other aspects of OSHC as well. Let's be honest. I'm sure webinars aren't everyone's idea of fun, but we promise you today that this won't be death by PowerPoint. We are going to keep it very lively, very interactive, and most importantly, very valuable for you guys. So again, just feel free to even hop into the chat box if you are willing to speak something. Feel free to raise your hand, and we would love to even hear your opinions on any of the matters. So yeah, talking about our today's topic, guys, we will be discussing the real life OSHC challenges and solutions with the expert insights from Medibank and AHM. Now, let me quickly introduce our experts today. So we have Mr. Ting Si Chow, who is the Senior Business Development Manager at Medibank. Chow began his journey in the health insurance industry as an overseas student while studying at university. With over 10 years of experience, he has held diverse roles spanning retail management, corporate account partnerships, project management, and migration partnerships as well. Chow has developed extensive expertise in delivering tailored health solutions while supporting corporate partners, migration agents, and the international communities they serve. Hi, Chow. We welcome you all today. Everyone from everyone's side, again, welcoming you. Quick,
Hi,
warm welcome.
everyone. Thank you for having me in today's sessions. I'm sure today's session will be very, very informative for all of you guys. Yeah, and as Bhavesh say, if you have any questions, right, don't be shy, drop it in the chat box, and we will have time to revisit at the end of the sessions to answer all your questions.
Now, talking about our other expert, Mr. Sikandar Azam, who is basically the overseas customer team leader at Medibank. Sikandar brings over 16 years of experience in the customer service industry and team management. For the past 9 years, he has successfully led Medibank's overseas student health cover customer service team. Sikandar holds a master's degree in information systems from Federation University and a bachelor's degree in computer applications from Osmania University, India. He's also ITIL Foundation certified. Sikandar is pretty fluent, I'm sure, in Hindi, in Urdu. Of course, we know that he's very fluent in English as well. So, welcoming you, Sikandar, today. Thank you for joining this webinar and coming as an expert.
Thank you, Bhavesh. Really appreciate the opportunity you've given us, and I hope it is informative, entertaining, and beneficial for everyone present here.
Sure, sure. We'll make sure that the people take some good insights from our webinar today. And yeah, a quick introduction from my end. So, hi everyone. My name is Bhavesh Motiramani. I am basically the product expert at KONZE India Private Limited. I've been working at KONZE since last 3.5 years. It's been a wonderful journey. Our motto is to basically simplify the, you can say, processes for the edge immigration agents, giving them certain tools, and we have a few other products as well, but we'll come to that later. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have already seen me in the previous webinars if you've attended any of the webinars of KONZE. And yeah, feel free to even connect with me on LinkedIn if at all you guys are willing to have a quick chat with me. So lovely. Let's kick this off. Okay, just a quick recap for the people who have missed our previous webinars. We did some different sorts of webinar with our other partners, KONZE's partners. These were the 3 webinars. And if at all any of you guys are interested in getting the recordings, the video recordings of these sessions, feel free to drop your email IDs or your names in the chat boxes. We'll make sure that right after this webinar, we will share with you the recordings, if at all you are willing to know more about this. Okay. Now, before I, come to Sikandar and Chow, let's quickly just see the visa trends of Australia, some quick insights just to get an idea how the visa flow is going in terms of the Okay, now in front of us currently, we have student visa applications that were launched. This is basically a monthly comparison over 5 financial years up to 30th of June 2024. So you can see that there was a good rise which was seen in early 2022, 2023, of course, because it was because of the COVID restrictions which were uplifted. So the government was, definitely encouraging a lot of students, and there were a good number of visa applications which were lodged in that particular year. And yeah, we everyone is aware that there are certain restrictions which are, have been basically added by the government, not only Australian government, but even for the other countries as well, looking at the scenarios, the current scenarios which everyone is dealing with. But yeah, you can see again, still there is a good number. There were good 700,000 visa applications which were launched this year. This is also the data until June. So I mean, this is something that Australia has completely not closed their borders, just to let you know. If we check the number of visa applications that were approved, so you can see it is a good amount, still a good amount. So the people who are actually genuine and who are the students who are willing to go to their, for the study purposes, or be it any other visas, we are currently talking about the student visas as of now. So government is definitely, entertaining them if at all they are good candidates, if at all they have good caliber. So do not really, think that okay, the borders are closed, the governments are strict, but yeah, just make sure that you guide your students properly. Okay, I think Mr. Arash has just dropped in chat box that I would appreciate if you could explain it in the Q&A session. For sure, Arash, we can take all your questions while we move forward. So this was just a quick hint to let everyone know, checking the visa trends of the past 5 years. And now we can definitely go to the interactive session which we have planned. It is like a talk show. So I will be asking some good questions from our, other speakers today, with Mr. Sikandar and Mr. Chow. And I'm sure you will get some really good, responses out of them. So, hi guys, I'll come to you now. I will start with one of the questions. I think both of them are very well capable to answer them, but then yeah, we will probably just take one by one, and we'll just wait for the responses from them. So this question, basically, Sikandar and Chow, this comes into minds of a lot of agents, again, with me as well. If I imagine myself as a agent who is sending the students to Australia, I'm sure I would love to know this question. So the question is, with new visa restrictions, many students might face challenges maintaining continuous OSHC coverage. What would you recommend agents to guide their clients through these changes?
Thank you, Bhavish. I will take this one. First and foremost, I want everyone to understand two important things when it comes to OSH policies. OSH policies are very mandatory as per the visa condition. Your students should have a OSH policy from the day they land in to the day they leave the shores of Australia. Plus, another thing you keep in mind is in Australia, medical expenses are very huge. It will be cost thousands of dollars just for a 1 day of hospital admission. Keeping that in mind, agent should educate clients about the visa and health insurance requirements to avoid any coverage lapses. Encourage early renewals of OSH policies to ensure continuity of coverage. Advise students to review their OSH terms and contact their providers if they anticipate any change to their visa status. Proactively updates students on regulatory changes and help them navigate renewal processes.
Very well said, Sikanda. I think agents have to be very proactive, as you mentioned. Very well said in such cases, because these are very sensitive cases, and if at all, if they miss out on these dates, it becomes very difficult for them. So I think even the agents would agree upon that, and let's take this good suggestion from Sikandar, and let's try to be more proactive in these situations if we come across any such scenarios in future. So thank you for answering that, Sikandar. We'll jump to our next question. We have heard of instances where students had to use their OSHC for unexpected health emergencies. Could you talk us through or any such similar scenarios which you must have experienced, Chow, if you can just answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think would nothing better than give you guys a story to actually take you guys through what's happened, right? So
That'd be
I can
great.
share one of the critical incidents that we have a few years back. So the background story is one of the Colombian students were just within the short span of time when they arrived in Australia. They have experienced a medical emergency, which suffered from a stroke, and basically lost the ability to talk or move, and which is very devastating, as you can imagine, for overseas students coming to a foreign country, probably don't know a lot about this country and suffer from such a horrific medical conditions. And of course, for the medical expenses and hospital expenses, that would all automatically covered by our OSH policies, by fund rules. But what I guess in this incident, what Medibank not only providing what the OSH cover already provide, we actually take one step further. What we have done is, first of all, we liaise with the student's mother in Colombia to coordinate support, because we understand this is a devastating time for them, not only for the daughter, also for the mother. On top of that, we also got special approval, which is we don't usually do. We actually get a special approval from our higher management to actually cover 50% of the return flight cost for the mother to actually come to Australia to be able to buy the daughter bed size, to provide the support that she might need during the time that she had these medical conditions. And as I said, this is not being a standard what usually covered on OSH cover, but we do feel the need, at the time we feel like it's the right thing to do and to provide for the students. And of course, we also have maintained regular communication with the students' friends who visit her daily, so we can get a little bit of update to understand what's going on and how she's recovering. Even though we have done all that, very unfortunately, the student did not really recover from the stroke and was unable to continue her study in Australia. She ended up, in the end, returned back to Colombia with her mother to continue her recovery and receive ongoing care. But I think the stories here is the story in here basically showing that we really look after and focus on the students' health and how we cover them should they have any accident or any medical needs while they're studying in Australia. And I guess more than that is in here we can see an element that we actively and proactively contact the students to see whether there is any other ways that we could support, and especially in these critical incidents that we have experienced in the past year.
Oh, okay. I think, yes, thank you for answering that, Chow. I mean, you have went, just out of your way and helped the student. This was a really shocking story, but then, yeah, the way you guys have dealt with the situation, it is really commendable. Not everyone in the market is able to do that, to be very honest. And I mean, this is something which comes in everyone's mind, right? If there are any parents who are sending their, children for the studies into overseas countries, they would definitely want to make sure that whatever happens, their children are secure. So I mean, listening to this, I'm sure a lot of people will be able to understand what and how the Medibank deals with the students and how they take care of them. So really glad to know that you guys are doing a great job. So lovely. Thank you for answering that. Moving to the next question. Again, this is also something which anyways comes into even the students while they are purchasing the policies. I think the agent should guide them properly. So basically the question is, what are some common mistakes students make while purchasing OSHC, and how can agent helps them to prevent these such mistakes? So I think Sikandar will take this up. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhavish. There are a few common mistakes we observe on a daily basis when a member contact us. Buying the wrong policy durations. Sometimes students purchase policies that don't align with their visa length or their arrival and date, so they have a gap there, and obviously that will make harder for them to use the insurance. Buying the wrong scale policy. So in Australia, we have policies single couple families and single parents. With people who are traveling with dependents, they should buy correct coverage so that they make sure that their coverage is there for all family members, instead of going for a different route of buying single policies where providers may refuse to claim coverage or provide any benefit. So you will putting yourself and your family at risk. Not understanding the coverage details. Some students assume all medical needs are covered without reviewing the exclusions, the fees of the gap they have to pay from their own pocket sometimes, and so forth and so on. And lastly, delaying the OSH purchase to the last minute. Technology is not our friends best of the time. So if you leave it to the last minute, if you purchase and you're not able to get the policy certificate on time to put the visa in, just adding a stress to your own already a very stressful situation applying visas and things big. So we recommend student, agent can help guiding a student to choose policies tailored to their visa length and correct skills. Agent can explain coverage, exclusions and inclusions in detail. And if there is any question they have which they can't answer on the spot, they can follow up with our relationship managers and encourage timely purchase to avoid in visa processing. So not leaving it to the last minute or keeping it aside. But I think if you have your documents already ready to go, better way to do it.
Yep. Again, very well said, Sikanda. I myself have noticed this a lot of times, the pointers which you just mentioned. A lot of times, the duration of the policy, sometimes, the agents get confused and even they're not able to guide the students properly that what is the actual duration that they should go. For example, if I, being the student, is planning to travel in Jan intake, so I should have good 15 to 20 days prior, policy with me in hand so that I can
Absolutely.
avoid any such mishaps in the future. And again, the other thing that you said, the agent should avoid the last minute policy purchasing. Again, there is also a very good suggestion coming in from you. A lot of times, this becomes, even though this process is going smooth, but these things make it, like hassle. It creates a hassle in the process. Just a small thing. I'm sure this is a very important part of the process. So we shouldn't really keep it for the very last stage. Rather, as soon as the visa comes in, you should, encourage the students to purchase the policies as per the, guidance which Sikandar provided. So lovely. Thank you for answering that, Sikandar. Very well said. Okay, we'll jump to our last question for this specific session as of now. Even this is something I'm sure a lot of people who are dealing with the students onshore, and they are very well aware about the visa subclasses where the students will opt in the future. So this is mostly for the people who are onshore and even for the people who are based offshore. This is a quick learning for you, which you can keep in your mind if you are dealing with the instances, such instances in the future. So in situations where students transit from a student visa to a temporary graduate visa, there is often a risk of health coverage gaps. What would you like to suggest to agents in that case, Chow?
Yeah, I can certainly take that one. It's very common, right? It is the
Yeah.
seasons that students getting graduations and starting to reach out to you guys, talk about what they want to do after they study. And one of the most common ones, they're gonna go on a graduating visa to continue their journey in Australia. In my opinion, first of all, we really need to advise students to switch to the appropriate health insurance plan that meet the new visa requirement before their OSHC expire. So a lot of students usually applying for their 485 visa before the student visa expire. And again, as Sikandar said, don't leave it till last minute. If students have that conversation with you, let them know that. Do it now to avoid certain delays on the visas and other things as well. Secondly, really help students to plan early and to encourage them the whole process, how it's like. For example, for a 485 graduating visa, they might be purchasing their visa at the time that they apply for the visa, but they will never be double insured with two policies. So basically, they will be able to contact us in the future to align their insurance state to making sure that they are not double insured in any way. The extra amounts can be refunded. So I think that can really fit into the early planning conversation with students, because student will be like, oh, hang on, I will have two insurance at a time then. So that's another one. And of course, is the continuity of the cover, because as Sikandar also mentioned before, if we have lapse in two cover, so if any emergency come up, it might be make it very tricky, for us to, paint the picture how long continuity of cover the student have. And, if we do everything right, this question student even comes up, because the student cover should align with the workers cover. And should anything come up, touch wood, there wouldn't be any waiting period issues, because we have all the history in line with our system to be able to process claims should anything comes up.
Oh, okay. Yes. I think, Chow, this question is something which was bothering me. A lot of times when agents asked me this question, even I used to fumble to answer to them. But yeah, I mean, you guys have, like answered it really well, considering all the aspects which we just covered recently. And I'm sure, even our agents are listening very carefully. I would recommend you to just even make the notes of it if at all you find something important. But yeah, don't worry. We'll be anyway sharing with you the recording, so you can anyways go through this recording later as well. So great. I mean, these were some very common questions, which come into the mind of agents as well as the students, which we recently discussed. I'm sure a lot of things have been clarified now. Lovely. Moving forward, okay. Medibank is in the market since quite a long time now. And since we have the experts from Medibank, they will be throwing some light in terms of what is Medibank's role in supporting the agent's success. So of course, they do care about the students. They do care about their, end clients as well. But talking about agents, how they are empowering their agents and how they want them to succeed alongside. So we will be checking that today. I can, every one of you guys can see that Medibank has two great OSHC products, which is one is Medibank Live Better, and they also have AHM OSHC. Again, it is the part of Medibank itself. And if you are wondering what is this star rating, the 5-star, which states KENSTAR 2024 Overseas Student Health Cover Award, which is outstanding value. So this is one of the organizations based in Australia, but I will not, explain this in a better way. I think Chow will be the person who has some great knowledge about this, and he would throw some light on this so that you get an idea what this is about. Over to you, Chow.
Yeah, absolutely. So, everyone, KENSTAR is basically an organization, an online operate organization. They compare lots of different rates for companies like loans, insurance, from electricity to internet fees to credit card to bank offers, insurance, all of those, and superannuations as well. So they're based on features and price, and of course, customer reviews on such products to give certain ratings. And I'm proud to say that both of our products were awarded with the outstanding value in 2024, and which means that in this year, no other health insurer would have received this reward, which is, again, it is another point for you guys to make to your students about Medibank, right? We are very, very well-known brand, and not only that, we are very reputable, and also we are vouched by some really reputable comparison site, and we are reward-winning products as well.
I think, this is something which is being given once in a year's time to a specific company and their specific products. And Medibank were able to nail it this time. So congratulations, guys, for this great achievement. And yeah, I think all these things, even add certain value. While the agents are recommending the policies to their students, they should also consider these aspects wherein they can see, what all achievements this a specific company has and how they support to their clients, how they support to the students before purchasing any policy. So great. Thank you, Chow, for explaining this. We'll move to the next part. We will be talking about student journey. So I would like Sikandar to, answer this for me. Basically, Sikandar, always it has been a question for me. I mean, there have been instances in past where I have thought of moving to a different country. And I always, kind of imagine how would a student journey be if someone is traveling to overseas country, let's say if we talk about Australia. So what all things, I'm sure their life is pretty hectic. They have to study, they have to sometime even, work for part-time to take care of their finances. There are certain things like if they want to spend some time for their leisure, what all things they can do. So since you are the team leader of the support of Medibank, I'm sure you must have, heard a lot of instances from these students, and no other person than you would be able to explain this to our clients in a better way. So I would like you to just throw some light over here.
Sure. And another thing I will add, along with their studies, and then they have to work and they have to look after themselves, they are by themselves. There's no family anymore. Back home, they have parents, siblings, grandparents, greater family, and everybody to support if you fall sick. But if you think about from international student point of view, if they fell sick medically, they're by themselves. So nobody is there for them to cook or to look after them. They have to do themselves. So this is where we think we come very handy for international students to provide services. I will go through 3 different scenarios where our features of our product will help them to navigate through those difficult days when they're not feeling well and 100%. So in first scenario, he is a Prashant who wakes up in the morning, who's feeling unwell and having a sore throat. He has a class that day and doesn't want to go to get this viral whatever he has to other classmates. Prashant log into our app on his phone and he see there is a feature called 24/7 student health line support, where registered nurses take these calls and guide Prashant to go through the symptoms first. And if they feel that there's some symptoms are there which they can give general advice, they can give. In this case, Prashant's symptoms are a bit serious, so they advise him to go and see a general practitioner doctor, GP. Prashant uses the the OSH app again, where he can find the list of all the direct billers, which means the people, the clinics who are directly connected with Medibank, and they can send the direct bills to us, not involving most of the time member to pay or claim for it later. But he doesn't feel up getting up and taking the bus or a public transport to go there. We have another option for him, which is called online doctors. We have partners with the online doctor providers here. From the app itself, you can just join the queue and request for a doctor to be contacted when they're available, and they can have a video conference consultation. In this case, the doctor gone through the symptoms, recommend to rest, recommend to take him the cold and flu tablets, and few days in the bed will be helpful to him.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I
And in
mean, sorry to cut you, Sikandar, but then
please.
if I talk about this particular feature, if I am a student living alone in Australia, if I have all the details with me on my mobile phone where I can straight away just contact the nurses, the doctors, and take the consultation. I mean, what better than that? So this is a really good service which you're providing. Lovely.
Absolutely. Most importantly, with the help of technology now, our members don't have to move out of the house. They can be in their safe of their home, wherever they're staying, and they can still have the consultation with the doctor. In the next scenario, we're taking something where Prashant meet up with some friends. He wants to go out and he recovered. Let us assume he recovered and he wants to go out in the weekend and celebrate a little bit. In our shop also, we have different deals and discounts called Student Rewards Plus. So we have partnership with different products and service providers. For example, here he noticed that there are some great deals for discount in Heath cinemas. Like we have PVR back home, we have Heath's here, so they are nationally known group of cinemas. And also he has seen the discount and the noodle box, which is obviously Chinese food in the noodle box, and they got a great deal. And he asked one of his friends to join for the meal and for the movie. What you want more? Your friend, a movie, and a meal.
Yeah.
I think it's a good weekend, I believe.
And that too, this is something which I'm getting just by purchasing a policy. It's a great thing. I'm sure, these days, a lot of people actually migrate to Australia for its lifestyle. So this is something which cannot be disregarded, and you guys have addressed it very well. So glad to know that, yeah.
And students are always for discounts, right? The better the discount they get, they save the money and they can use it better. In the next example, we will take to an extreme situation when students can go into. In this case, heading home from after the movie, it's quite dark, and Prashant is unlucky and tripped while crossing the street. He fell and hit his head. He is little dizzy and bleeding. His friend dialed 000, which is a emergency contact number where you will get your ambulance, fire, and police. In this case, the emergency number has been dialed to call ambulance, and ambulance were there within 5-10 minutes to check on the patient. Ambulance has considered the patient not to be treated on the spot, and they have transferred him to the hospital nearest hospital emergency department. Because of his Medibank OSH, 100% of Prashant ambulance fee from picking up and dropping is covered, and also the emergency department facility fee is 100% covered. Once he in the emergency department, Prashant, doctors consider that he needs to get admitted and stitched a little bit and stay overnight. As Prashant stayed in the hospital overnight, so they can monitor him closely. His Medibank OSH covered 100% of the accommodation cost for his stay, and as long as it's in the included services.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it, to be honest, Sikandar, that if you do not have a proper OSH policy, OSHC policy, the ambulance services back then in Australia, they charge you like a good amount, in dollars. And being a student, as you mentioned earlier, the students are always, you were saying something, please go ahead. Yeah.
Just to give a context, to just see a GP, it costs you around $100. Just
okay.
for a 5-10 minute consultation. A smallest trip to buy an ambulance, maybe a kilometer or two, costs anything between $800 to $1,200. I'm talking $800 to $1,200. And spending one day in hospital, just one day, can cost between $4,000 to $6,000, depending on what services. So it's an expensive service if you really need it. That's why it has become very important to have right coverage and you have right policies with the right provider. So that way, when the need arises, we will be there to support you and help you and cover you. It's not like we're gonna, if you go this way or that way, we will think you covered or not. Our policy policies are top coverage policies.
No, of course. I mean, again, every agents can just note this down. If you are recommending any of the policies to your students, all these things are also matters, of course. So make sure that someone who covers all these expenses, which are frilly, as Sikandar mentioned, should be considered while purchasing a policy, OSHC policy. And I can see Arish has a quick question. Maybe Sikandar or Chow, if you can just answer that. He has mentioned that is it possible for a student to ask for a personalized insurance policy?
Is no, because these all policies, overseas policy, especially the ones that visa compliance, they do need to be approved by government before we when we design these products and getting it on the market. So short answer is no. It's basically a standard OSH policies that they would need to get at the bare minimum, which is visa compliance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for taking that up, Chow. And to answer your question, Arish, I mean, you can always contact the relationship manager from the Medibank. They would be happy to provide you a good consultation that what would be a good fit policy for a specific student, considering the various scenarios. They'll guide you that, okay, you should actually go for this one. You should actually opt for this one. So yeah, I think that should be a better way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sikandar.
Yes, we have the bulk of the policy will be same because it's heavily guarded by government of Australia. You have to provide minimum of those services. What differentiate us from us is the additional services. 24/7 registered helpline. Medibank has retail stores. Medibank has app. Medibank has messaging services. If you don't want to call us, so we have different. What additionally we give on top of, and we all being a leading insurer of Australia, we have connection and partnership with all the providers, hospitals, and so forth and so on. So we being leading that give us that advantage to be relationship with better providers and all providers.
I see. Okay. So yes, thank you for answering. Thank you for actually asking this question, Arsh. I think it has also clarified a lot of things for other agents. Okay. They have one more question. Arsh means, I mean, if a student can ask for some additional coverage for a standard approved policy.
Absolutely. A common additional type of cover that we've seen a lot is, for example, dental cover. If they want to have regular dental checkup, cleaning, fillings, or getting specs every year, or if they are very sporty, cricket and all that, they might need physio, chiro, osteopath. So these are the common extra add up on top, and student able to get it. What we call is extra cover in Australia to cover those portions. But I would always suggest if any student have these sort of questions, right, feel free to redirect them to Medibank because these are pretty circumstantial, right? Like I said, they could be very sporty, so they might need more in physio, chiro, but for some they might only need dental cover. So we do have a range of different what we call is extra cover suitable for students. So if they have those sort of questions, feel free to ask them to reach out to us. Then we can actually understand a little bit more on their need and recommend the right products for them.
Yeah, that clarifies, I think.
And Medibank always give special discounts to students who want to buy extras products as well. We have special deals going on.
Lovely. So yeah, I think the answer was pretty fine. Yogesh has mentioned this was a good answer, and yeah, even Arish said that okay, yeah, this is what they were actually looking for. So lovely. Thank you for your expert advice, Chow and Sikandar. Okay, let's move to the next part. So this is basically a quick question for our agents now. This is like a poll. You can consider it as a poll. We just want to know, your opinions and how you guys are actually, purchasing the policies on what particular fundamentals. So what is the most important factor when recommending health insurance to international students? So you can see you have 4 options. The first is A, which says comprehensive coverage for medical and emergency services. Do you consider that as a priority? B is affordable premiums and cost effectiveness. So it is the second option. C is access to 24/7 support services for students. And D being ease of claiming and network accessibility. So I want to really know that what is the priority you guys, considering these 4 options, and then you recommend the students to purchase and go ahead the policies. Let's just quickly hear the responses. Okay. I can see Meenakshi has chosen A, which is comprehensive coverage for medical and emergency services, again, which is a good thing. Mehul has also opted for option A, prioritizing. Okay, and Mr. Yogesh, he thinks that ease of claiming and network accessibility is something which should be prioritized. Great, glad to know that. And any more agents who would like to share their opinions on this one? I think sometimes even access to 24/7 support services for students is also a matter of priority. This should also be a good one if I consider. Okay, Arish has mentioned that they consider option A, which is comprehensive coverage for medical and emergency services. I think mostly the agents are going with option A. Again, this is a smart choice. So lovely. I mean, glad to know your opinions on this one, guys. You can even drop in your responses later if you would like to do that. Okay. Moving forward, we now heard the opinions of our agents that what all things they prioritize before purchasing a policy. Now, I want Chow to basically guide our agents properly, and I want Chow you to give them some recommendations that what is the most important to the agents when it comes to their health insurance. I mean, you can definitely cover both the aspects of your Live Better Medibank as well as AHM OHC. You can probably give it a differentiate, and it'll be great if you can just guide our agents properly what all things they should cover and what all you guys have to offer. Over to you, Chow.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what better things than having a breakdown and a table for everyone to see and when I explain this, right? So thank you for that. Yeah, so it always comes down to what products do we think these students particular need, and how are we going to differentiate, or what questions can we ask to find out what products might better suit the students, right? So here is come. So we basically have break down the two of our products and just giving you a little bit of overview of different features and price point, perhaps accessibility as well, to understand better between these two products. So let's start with the Medibank Essential OSHC policy. So the target audience for Medibank is for those that are not particularly concerned about price. When I say not particularly concerned, they are slightly higher than our AHM products, and there are reasons. And I will go through all the reasons with you guys, and of course that include a lot of features that package into these products. First of all, Medibank are suitable for those that really prefer face-to-face customer service support. In our retail network, some of you guys might not know, but I used to work in retail, as you mentioned before. In our retail network, we are very diversified. What I'm trying to say is we have a lot of multilingual speakers consultant in our retail network. So this could be a plus for students that who might not be very confident, only reaching out or doing business with some organization only online or phone. And this is a plus because when they have questions, they can just go into one of our 80 stores across Australia. Then they can perhaps talk in their language to solve their problem right there and then. So that's one of the, I would say, one of the biggest selling points we have with the Medibank Essential OSH. And the other things that special features that Medibank Essential OSH has is there is no pre-existing condition when it's come to psychiatric services. Now, when we talk about psychiatric services, we're talking about stress, could be, family relationship, could be loneliness, just studying in Australia, in a foreign country by themselves. When we look over the market, a majority of the OSHC policies, they do have a 2 months psychiatric services waiting period, which means that if the student just landed, they do need some help in terms of, psychiatric services and support. With Medibank, there are no waiting period. They can basically enjoy the services or receive any treatment right away. And the next one is, I think this is a very, very important one. A lot of you guys say that A is very, very important. So let me break it down for you. Medibank Essential OSH, we don't only cover ambulance call-out fees, and we also paid out on-the-spot treatment. Let me break it down for you guys a little bit. A lot of time, right? Student might be in an emergency situation, but ambulance came, and if they only provide on-the-spot treatments to the student, and there's no need to transfer to hospital, in this case, some OSH policy, they do not pay because it's not an emergency trip from where they are to the hospital. It's not the transportation only, it's on-the-spot treatment. But with Medibank, all ambulance call-out fees and on-the-spot treatment fees are both covered. So should students have any worried about their current situation being an emergency or not, I would just say, you know what, with Medibank OSH, just call, And also with Medibank Essential, it does have a higher pharmaceutical benefits limit, which I know Arish have a problems of have a questions on that, we go back to that later. We can answer that together. Also, as a Medibank OSH member, they can get 15% travel insurance with Medibank. In here, we're talking about if they're going out other country, not to their home country, not in Australia, which they don't have their OSH in Australia, they don't have whatever they have in their home country, and they might want to explore travel insurance, which is something that they can get with us with a discount as well. And of course, as a Medibank member, we have our Live Better platform, which we share lots of health and well-being tips and guidance, and those are really, really valuable for students, so they can get access to that. Before I talk about the benefits for both branding, I will also touch on a little bit with how AHM OSH is slightly different to our Medibank brand. So first of all, as I previously mentioned, AHM OSH slightly cheaper and is less price sensitive compared to our Medibank products. It is more for those students are happy to only handle the inquiries and claims and such things on online or phone platform rather than face-to-face interactions. And of course, the benefit for AHM products will be cost savings, being a slightly cheaper products as well. However, they do also get 15% travel insurance if they opt to go with Medibank, being an AHM OSH member. Now, let's get to the benefits that both brands were able to enjoy. First of all, both of these products are visa compliance OSH policy, so we have no problems getting the visa granted, and the visa certificate will basically clearly state that this is a visa compliance products. Both policy will have access to direct billing center, which is in one of the student journey that Sikandar talked about before. We also pay both policy also pay benefits towards to a private room in a public hospital as well as contracted private hospital. So student would get benefits would still get benefits if they opt for private single rooms. Another really big selling point is we do have a dedicated multilingual OSH customer service team from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., which means that if students were calling us, chances are they sort of able to find someone that speaks their own language, so ensure that they have 100% understanding in what they want to interact with us with. And also, both brands will be eligible for both pet and travel insurance discounts, as well as the OSHC reward programs, which I would give a little bit more information in the following slide. We've got another slide for that. But long story short is students will be able to access to a range of deals, discounts, and offer. They could stay up to $1,500 a year on the everyday living expenses. And the last sort of point, I think, is linked back to the questions that we had before when tailoring OSH products for students. Again, if students sort of want to get additional cover in terms of dental, physio, specs, and all that, they will be able to contact us and add that component on top of their OSH cover. And as Siki said, we always look after our student cohort, sort of able to offer them some sort of joining discount to get them started on the extra cover journey.
Yes. I think it was very well explained, Chow. You considered all the points talking about benefits, target audience, and the differentiation of both the products which Medibank has to offer. And you guys have, both the products which cater to the needs of X student and Y student according to their financial constraints. So glad to know that. And we have Arish who wants to know more about the pricing. I think, Arish, let's keep it for the last question and answer session where Sikandar and Chow will be able to give you some hints on what are the prices, and they'll be able to answer your question. Okay, moving forward. Now, Sikandar, let me come back to you. So I think me being a student in Australia, for example, I can see there are a lot of providers which provide, insurance, OSH insurance, basically. Me being in the current generation, if I talk about millennials, if I talk about Gen Zs, they're always looking for something extra. They do not want to settle in with just the OSH covers, but then they want something that if I get something additional, if they have something additional to offer to me. So I want you to answer, Sikandar, that do you guys offer any certain additional advantages for the students, what they can avail in terms of their daily lifestyle? What all benefits do they get?
Absolutely, Avish. You can see the number of services available for our international students on top of their mandatory coverage, hospital, doctors, and so forth. This is the on top coverage. They are available through our telephonic support line, and they are available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. This service, students can access this service 365 days of the year. So student can get help anytime, any day, whether it's anywhere. whether it is a 3 p.m. in the afternoon or 3 a.m. in the morning, whether it is a Christmas day or Eid day or Diwali day or New Year's Eve, a student can still contact this telephonic support lines and utilize our services. I will take a long time to go through every one of those, so I will pick a couple of them, so it will make it shorter. So speaking to a registered nurse, as we already knew a little bit about from the Prashant example, how the registered nurse works, where a student can contact medical advice. Example, if a student is feeling sick and it's 2 a.m. in the morning, but they is not familiar with how the Australian healthcare system works and how they're not sure what to do, the student can call and speak to a nurse, and nurse can give a medical advice. One of the good example I always give to my team is new moms don't know kid is crying in the midnight and they are alone. They don't have their parents to tell. They just had a baby and they are struggling to know what's happening. Is baby sick or is baby just crying? So they can call to our registered nurse line and they get help. Sometimes don't think, but this is a service we have for the international students. Speaking to registered counselor. Nowadays, as you talk about Gen Z, Gen M, and technologies, it brings its own concerns as well. So if a student is experiencing mental health concerns, whether it's feeling depressed because they are homesick, worried about money or exams, broken up with their friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, then our OSH member can speak to a counselor over the phone who can provide services. Thirdly, we have international students walk from different part of the world who speak multiple different languages. Obviously, some students profound in the English, some students came to learn English. So how their communication, and especially when they are sick and they're not well, to communicate that in a very clearly manner and understand what we're trying to tell them is important. So we have interpreter services. If a student is having challenge communication in English, they can get support from interpreter services. This could be useful if a student is hospitalized, but they don't understand what doctor are explaining. The student can also speak to a nurse or a counselor together with the interpreter services. Over 100 languages are available instantly, and Medibank bear the cost of it. So we have partnership with the interpreter service providers, and we will bear the cost. All services within 24/7 health support line are complimentary services to our OSH members, which means they are free and don't cost the student anything.
Great. Yeah, I mean, Sikandar, these challenges I think are actually faced by the students because Australia, a lot of immigrants from across the globe, if you talk about Asian countries, European countries, African countries, they tend to travel to Australia and they try to settle there. Talking about the language barriers, everyone comes from a different origin. So it is great to have, multilingual people in the team and you provide these interpreter services. Not only that, if we talk about the mental health concerns which you guys are addressing, or the phone consultations which you give in such scenarios, this is commendable. And I think apart from this, I'm sure you guys already are working upon what is the future of the OSH. This is already, I think, if I talk about the other providers, and if we consider all these services, you guys are already living in the future. Looking at the application services that you have, the interpreter service that you have, and you have 24/7 services. So counseling services available. This is already a future. But if I talk about the further growth of OSH, talking about overseas student health cover for Australia, I think there are certain things which you have already mentioned in a video which you guys have prepared. I would like all the agents to go through this video very carefully. You'll get a very good idea in terms of what Medibank as a brand is and how they are, currently living in the future already and how they're helping the students. So let's watch this quickly. Oh, great. I mean, looking at the features that you have in your applications, everything available just, with a few clicks, it's commendable to have. But if I talk about myself, Sikandar, keeping these things aside, I also noticed some discounts and offers which you guys are providing on some various brands. I am more interested in that. Can you please, let me know
Sure,
what all things?
you will see more on the next slides by Chow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I feel like we have mentioned a couple of times of the Student Reward Plus now on the table that I present just now, and also in one of the student journey. The second go through where the student able to get a discounted movie tickets, get some noodle bars and Chinese food on a discount. And the Student Reward Plus doesn't stop there. So saving money is probably one of the components that sit within the Student Reward Plus that we have talked about. Basically, student can get exclusive discount on the app for well-known brands to help them with the cost of living, but it's much more than that. They're also able to learn skill and local knowledge as well. They're able to explore a library of useful local information that to help them to get used to the lifestyle in Australia, help them to navigate the complicated Australian health system as well. And on the platform itself also have a lot of health and well-being articles, for those students that are really into the health and well-being experts, I would suggest to have a look of those. And here is a page of sample discount. You can see Apple, Vodafone, Microsoft, and we're constantly adding more into these as well. So it definitely a great platform for students to get on, and also students can get a resume build, have an international job board. They are able to look for job opportunities as well. So it's an awesome platform.
Lovely. Chow, is there a way, even if I'm not traveling to Australia, can I buy your OSH?
We'll get you the student visa first. Then we can certainly do that.
Great, great. I mean, yeah, talking about all the important services which you guys offer, and not only that, looking at the lifestyle of the students, the new generations, you have considered their, you can say, opinions, what matter to them, and then you have given these discounts. I can see a quick noodle box, $15 for 2 student boxes. I mean, this is really great. If I want to have a quick meal, I would definitely love to, have this availed. So a lot of other things as well, Apple discounts, Sennheiser, lovely. I mean, you are really offering a great number of deals for all your clients. So thank you for
Yeah,
highlighting
we
this.
understand cost of living is going up, so we're doing
Yeah.
everything we can to help students to live in Australia.
Yeah, it's definitely a great deal, and thanks for highlighting these questions and these features as well. Okay, so guys, today's session was all about making your work easy, helping your students to purchase hassle-free OSHC policy, and we discussed some common challenges which the agents face, and we came up with certain solutions where Chow and Sikandar gave their expert advice on how you can overcome that situations. So I would like Chow and Sikandar to probably just give a summarized statement of what all we discussed right now, and we can definitely move towards the question and answers round then.
I will go first. Agent, as I said, educate the member having the right insurance coverage from the day they can land, they will land to the last day of the visa, or they will fly off. That's important. Getting ready in advance, like preparing OSH first and then not leaving it to the last minute. Having the right scale, single couple policy. Being known for what is covered, what is not covered, what is expected. Especially if you have something pre-existing, understand what will cover you in your coverage and so forth and so on. Medibank and OSH, Medibank and AHM, we provide not just hospital and medical coverage. You can see we have different services, 24/7 registered line, ambulance covers, and also the discounts, rewards and discounts we do. It's just not when we are sick, we look after you while you are in Australia.
Lovely. Thank you for a quick recap, Sikandar. Those were really good pointers. Chow, do you have something to add over here? OSHC is just not it is definitely more than just health insurance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Siki really wrap up a lot of experts very well. But if I were have one thing to say, I'd say a lot of time for many agents, I'm sure not the case for you guys, but the focus of the OSH often revolves around commissions, But to us, it's all about the student. So I think it's essential for the agents to prioritize the student needs. And when it's come to OSH, the student health and well-being should always come first. Tailoring communicate recommendation to what truly matter to the students, right? As some of the questions popping up is really good, right? Can we tailor something for student, right? This is exactly what we want to see. Having those deep conversation with your clients, with your student, understanding what they need, give them the information that you feel like it will help them to get used to the life in Australia and get them to get the feet on Australia. I think that's really, really important. Yeah.
Lovely. So I hope all these pointers which were mentioned and the advices which were given by Sikandar and Chow are well noted by all the agents. And anyways, you can even reach out to us after the webinar if at all you have any concerns. So I'll definitely come to the question and answers round, but a quick understanding of our organization. As I mentioned, I am hosting on behalf of KONZE India Private Limited. So just to give you a quick hint on what KONZE is about, KONZE believes in building exceptional SaaS-based solutions to reform education and immigration industry. As I said, we have industry-specific products specifically to cater to the needs of our B2B partners. We have these 4 products listed. Condesk is one of the most intuitive CRM, specially curated for edu immigration industry. We have Conpair, which allows you you to compare the policy rates of multiple providers at one page. As the name suggests, you can definitely check that out. We have Consign. If at all your business involves, a lot of signatures at multiple stages, Consign is the perfect product for you, where you can check out the e-signature and document management system features. Then we also have Search My Enscope. Basically, this is specifically for the people who are already onshore, and even the people who guide their students for their further occupational needs. So you can just go there, type for occupation. You'll get all the details in terms of their occupation. What is the state eligibility? What all visas you should apply for a specific occupation and whatnot. So these are some primary products which we would like to feature. Any of you guys, if you are willing to check out this, my colleague has just recently dropped in a link for you guys to just go through, and you can definitely reach out to us if at all you are willing to know more about this. A quick glimpse of Compare. So for the agents who are willing to explore this product, this is a free of cost product. We do not really charge anything to our clients for now, and feel free to just do a quick sign up and check out all the features that we have. Okay, now we'll come to the question and answers round. This is my favorite part of the webinar. I think Arish already had a few questions which we were supposed to address. Let's quickly come to that first. Okay, please answer this before ending this webinar. Okay, Arish has mentioned that one of our students has just received this from the OSHC provider after she tried to get a repayment for her prescription cost. So the note which the provider sent to them was, we are unable to pay a benefit towards this claim as the cost of the medication you are claiming for didn't exceed the pharmaceutical benefit scheme, which is PBS charge that applied on the date of the prescription. If the medication cost is less than the PBS charge, we are not able to pay a benefit.
Sure, I will take that, Bhavish. In how the pharmaceutical coverage work is, there are certain medicines, most of the medicines comes under pharmaceutical benefit scheme, which means Australian government already has discounted it, and those medication cannot cost more than $31 or $41 or something like that. So any medication, if it is under pharmacy benefit scheme, that will cost up to $41.50. That's $31 of max that. So if as an international student and if a doctor prescribed me a medicine which cost me only $20 a packet, I cannot claim it because it's less than the benefit schedule amount. Let's assume that it's $40, it's less. If next time the doctor prescribed me, it cost me $60 a single prescription, then I can claim. I will pay the $40, the minimum one, and the insurance benefit will be $20 from there.
I get it. Okay. So yeah, I think this gave a lot of clarity. Thank you,
So there is a minimum amount that a student has to bear, which is set by $31, set by the government of Australia, not the insurance providers. And then anything above that, we will pay the benefits.
Okay, great. I hope Arish, your question was answered properly. We have one more question from Yogesh. It was asked earlier. Sorry, Yogesh, we are taking it now. How can students quickly locate Medibank network providers?
There is on our website, on our app, there is a link on our homepage on the top right. Find a provider. If you click on it, they will go. They can choose what they're looking for: general practitioners or pharmacy, pathology, radiology, and they choose the suburb, and then it will show the nearest in the map and in the list as well.
Lovely. Thank you for taking that up. I hope, Mr. Yogesh, your question was answered. I have something for you, Chow. Arish earlier had a question. They mentioned that. Can you please let us know about the price range for this as well? I'm assuming they're asking for the price range of Medibank and AHM OSH for a 2-year period of example.
Yeah, absolutely. For 2 years period for AHM, I'm gonna pop the information into the chat as well, so you guys can see. For AHM, a single 2 years policy is $1,214. For Medibank Essential 2 years policy is $1,319. So we're talking about only $105 difference in 2 years durations of OSH policies. And remember the graph that I mentioned, all those perks that you get with Medibank OSH policy as an extra $105.
And it is very easy to get a quote from our website, or you can go to Compare and just quickly you have to put the start date of the policy, end date, and scale, and you will get the quote. It generally take less than a minute.
Yeah, correct. Thank you for taking this up. Yeah. Do we have any more questions, guys? Come on, we have 2 experts sitting us in front of, in this webinar. Make sure that you use this opportunity and ask your questions. Okay. Iris says, thank you, guys. The question was answered properly. Great. Charmaine has been kind and she's also responding to a lot of questions in the chat box. Thank you, Ashwini, for taking all the questions and responding to the clients on timely basis. Okay. Just the last. Oh, that's fine, Charmaine. We do not want you to stay silent. That's fine. So yeah, again, a last call for questions, guys. Any questions, any more questions from your end? Feel free to ask. Do not hesitate. Even feel free to just unmute yourself and just have a quick chat with our experts. Feel free to do that. I think there are no more questions, but great. I mean, we had a really good audience today. It was a very interactive session. A lot of people asked a lot of questions, and our experts were able to answer them properly. So it was lovely having each and every participant in this session. And I would like to thank you, Sikandar and Chow, for making this possible today. Thank you for sparing some time out of your busy schedules and addressing the agents, the direct agents. I'm sure any of the agents, if you dial Medibank support sometime, if you hear Sikandar's voice, you can tell them I'm from the webinar. Did you recognize me? And even Chow, while you are into a new partnership, Chow will be the person who will be answering to your calls. So you can definitely speak to them while you are getting connected. So yeah, anything that you would like to say, Sikandar and Chow?
I would like to say thank you very much for inviting us, giving this opportunity, and really like to see more partnerships like this, more webinars, more communications. We are here for you. We want to build better and bigger relationship with you all, and you will find difference in our what services we provide to you and your clients when they are in Australia, which is most matter to us, our members. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
For me, thank you for having us. I truly enjoyed the sessions, and I enjoyed the interactions, the questions that you guys all have. I feel like there are more that we can talk about. We'll leave it for next time.
Correct. Before we wrap up, I think Mr. Gokul just dropped in a chat. Hi, I have a question. Mr. Gokul, feel free to just drop your question. We would love to answer your question before we wrap up. Or if at all you want to unmute your mic and even speak up, even you can feel free to do that. If at all you have missed on any of the questions, and if you would want to even answer us at the later stage, feel free to reach out to us on our email addresses. My colleague will drop in the contact details. So feel free to reach out to us even after the webinar. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay. Yeah, Gokul, please feel free to Can I unmute? Okay. Do you want me to help you with that? Let me just check.
Hey, myself Gokul. Can you hear me actually?
Yes. Yeah, we can.
See, one of my client actually have a doubt regarding that. So I was asking the same question to you. One of my client has chosen to move to Australia for a study visa, and she has applied under a single parent. Okay, but recently her spouse and his child want to move in a subsequent entrant. Okay, now they are applying in the insurance in the single parent. Does it be okay or not?
You said
Sorry, I didn't hear the second part of the questions. Can you repeat?
Okay, sure. Thanks for it. First question. One of my client has applied Medibank insurance in a single cover. Okay, his wife, and she got a student visa also granted. Now his husband and his child want to move in a subsequent entrant. So they have told me to apply in a single cover insurance. Okay, single parent insurance. So does will be okay or not?
The best thing you can do is, because a wife is already here in Australia, husband and child wants to join, the peaceful guaranteed coverage if they have the family cover. You can work around with single cover and the single parent, but the guarantee of the coverage will be lesser, and then we may end up in a no cover or things like that. But if you buy a family policy, it will be guaranteed coverage and peace of mind as long as they are here in Australia in our student.
Okay, but the client told me that in future he'll be merge both the insurance copy. Does it okay for it?
It's all based on the visa application. So if on the visa application, I didn't get the gender right? So if the primary applicant and the secondary applicant is the wife and the children go under, we consider this is one visa application. So they need to be in a family scale. If we are talking about the wife got individual student visa, the husband got individual student visa, and the children got individual student visa, then they can get 3 singles. But then if the mother cover the mother's student visa is, if the mother is the primary and the children is a secondary, then the mother and the children can get a single parents in that case. It's really based on their visa application, whether they are all in one visa or they are in separate visa.
Sounds
So
clear.
now let's say if they are in single student visa now, and in 2 months time they're gonna apply for a family student visa. Then at the time when they apply for the family student visa, all of them have to be in a family scaled OSHC cover
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
understand
visa
totally.
compliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally understand it. But the client has been initiated and everything is got approved now. The client, as we told, his wife is in a single cover, and his husband and his child, he's in a single parent cover. After in future, they're going to be merged. But in the after merging it to into family cover, does it be fine or not?
It will be fine once it covered into family cover.
Okay. In between, if they want any claims, that will be any issue will be happen in between before merging
That's-
into the family cover.
That's what the case is. It's case by case basis and provider to provider basis.
Okay. Thank you. This was my question, actually.
Thank you for answering this, Chow and Sikandar. Thank you for your expert advice. And yeah, RS actually was willing to connect with all of us on LinkedIn. We have dropped in the quick links. He was specifically asking for Sikandar's account as well. I've just dropped in the link of your account, Sikandar. So
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward to receiving a connection from your end, RS. And yeah, I think let's conclude this webinar today. I'm sure a lot of great insights were shared, and you guys really answered all the questions properly. It was a great advice receiving. And is there any other questions? If I'm not missing out, I'll just quickly check that up. No, I think everything has been addressed. Lovely. So thank you once again. Thank you each one of you for joining the session today. We will probably plan a few more webinars in the coming times. And yeah, we would love to hear your responses if you would like to join the upcoming sessions.
Thank you, Bhavish. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.